By 2026, almost 50% of young adults will report difficulty meeting basic needs or living paycheck to paycheck. Critics attribute these conditions to being a lazy generation, financially irresponsible, or simply needing to stop buying coffee. In reality, the systems that your generation interacts with and relies on every day as traps, real and intentional. These traps assisted in what we labeled the financial crisis, and today we will dive into every single one. More than 10 traps, no fluff. Trap 1. Buy now, pay later. This represents a trap that is deceptively irresponsible. Why wouldn't it buy now, pay later if it's split into 4 payments with no interest? This is designed to remove the actual feeling of spending money. Regulators are beginning to understand the impacts of these applications on the purchasing systems of everyday essentials including groceries and takeout and, surprisingly, even Botox. The pain in for split purchases is the sacrifice of a future paycheck without the obligation being tracked. Multiply this payment system 5 or 6 times, and that future paycheck is relayed and already obligated. Trap 2. Lifestyle creep, and more specifically, lifestyle creep impacted by social media. Viewing the entire social media landscape creates a warped sense of what lifestyle spending should be like. Social media creates a relentless need to follow spending trends, and exact spending is often followed by social media-influenced impulsive spending. Social media has warped the sense of what is normal. Trap 3. Side hustle trap. The side hustle culture promotes second jobs, side gigs, and content creation as answers to feeling broke due to the main job's income being insufficient. While these can be solutions to feeling broke, they can also go too far. When side hustles are the sole solution, recovery time and health can be traded for side hustles that don't create any form of wealth. No equity, no skill development, just a monetary exchange that uses up time, and therefore start trading time for value. Busy or being worked to the bone does not equal wealthy. Trap 4. Subscription bloat. Streaming, apps, cloud services, delivery, and workout apps that have been signed up for but forgotten about. The small monthly fees can add up. On average, a young adult could waste away hundreds in membership fees for services that are essentially not used. Companies have signed up so many people to memberships because they know most people will forget. This company policies are a form of side hustle. They have people signed up and paying for their services. Trap 5. High interest debt. Until the credit card bill arrives, using credit cards is a way to spend without instantly losing cash. Most people in the most financially troubled generation are beginning to show their poor financial choices, with debt levels averaging the 6-figure mark. The most debt-laden have been forced to withdraw from their retirement savings to fund their lifestyles. All of this high interest requires debts to be paid. This is compounding, like poor or negative interest investing, as debt load continues to grow. Trap 6. Housing. This is less about personal failure and more about the numbers. Houses were about 3 times the average income in 1990. Now for those in their 20s and 30s, they are about 8 times their annual salary. Missing out on home ownership isn't about budgeting to save. It's about the structural barriers in the economy. It is the largest impediment to young adults, keeping them from leaving the family home, starting families, and buying their own houses. Trap 7. Gamified trading apps. These modern trading apps aren't profitable at your expense in the long run. They only make money if you are trading actively. These apps rely on behavioral hacks that are very similar to those used in gambling. They make heavy use of graphics, notifications, and other gimmicks that reward trading. These apps are very popular with those young adults that are heavily indebted due to their student loans. Trap 8. Influencer financial advice. Social apps are loaded with the most vapid advice to make money and, unlike traditional advice, there is no recourse for accuracy. There are multiple influencers that have been prosecuted for leading their followers to lose money in fraudulent pump and dump scams. The most insidious part of these bad calls is that they can be made, and there is no consequence for the advice. It may be deleted. Trap 9. The reality of the job market. Entry-level opportunities have drastically declined, and youth unemployment trends are twice the national average. Reports suggest that 50% of graduates are employed in jobs that do not utilize their degree and do not help pay off their student loans. Once again, this is not an issue of savings and budgeting. This is the result of a generation being led to believe that there is a demand for their skills, when in reality, there are no jobs available. Trap 10. The so-called great wealth transfer. It is common knowledge that many members of the baby boomer generation are expected to leave behind a lot of money for their heirs come their deaths, and that this should help fix many problems we've been facing. While it is true that some of the wealth will be passed down, most of it remains with the wealthiest. If you take out the richest of the rich households, the rest will see no inheritance at all. Hoping and wishing for an inheritance as a betterment of your finances is not a valid plan. So what actually helps in this system? The most important thing is paying yourself first. Stop yourself from making buy now, pay later purchases. Go through your subscriptions and cut out the ones you do not use at least once a quarter. Also, trade apps and finance influencer posts as entertainment and not as something to base your finances on. Finally, invest in yourself and create income-generating skills that build momentum. None of these will fix the fundamentally unfair system. However, this will help you not be crushed by the current system. You are not to blame for the traps. But, as the system designed these traps, will help you sidestep them and avoid falling into the traps. If any one of the 10 or more traps that you closely relate to, that's not a sign of failure. That's a sign you're now aware of what to watch for. That's the end of the game. Subscribe for more breakdowns similar to this.